Here we are in San Diego checking out museums. San Diego has some museums not located on the coast. So if you got a little time to kind of take a little jaunt over here, this is the San Diego Air and Space Museum. They've got a lot of interesting things. I found it fascinating.
You'll also see the only CBS satellite exhibit anywhere in the world.
Spirit of St. Louis.
The real one's in the Smithsonian. Just a replica.
Flight simulators, where you'll experience firsthand the thrill of flight.
Charles Augustus Lindbergh. Then there were, of course, the Lindbergh kidnapping, which it turns out probably the kid was probably killed by him because he had apparently a hell of a temper. I don't know. Charles Lindbergh, Medal of Congress. Oh, it was lost in a fire in 1978. Okay, they must have a replica in the Smithsonian then. I don't think any of the planes, the first flights from the Wright brothers survive at all. And it was devised. Lindbergh bust. First aircraft to fly coast to coast. Oh. That's what the first aircraft to fly coast to coast was a biplane. Really can't get yourself notable for doing these kind of things anymore. Pioneer of aviation, John Louis Montgomery.
All subsequent attempts in aviation must begin with the Montgomery machine. The next time you look at
So here's the thing to some of the people who first thought about flying. Da Vinci, some of his designs. The Wright brothers. You know, the Smithsonian, actually, the interesting story about the Wright brothers is the Smithsonian contracted a guy to try and figure out how to fly, to build a mechanical airplane, basically. And he tried and spent all this money. He tested his prototypes, and they all failed. And he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times on how manned flight would evade humanity for the next 100 years. Like 6 days later, Kitty Hawk happened with the Wright brothers. No, Wings of the Past. Let's check out the space. Where is space? Space is everywhere. The stuff that has actually helped. How do we get into space? Yeah, you got to bring your oxygen in order to run the engine. Yep, you got the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, exosphere. Yep, gets thinner. Yeah, that's what Sputnik looked like. Explorer 1. Capcom. ECOM, surgeon, flight director. Mission control, ground control. There's an aerospace museum in Alabama where they actually have life-size rockets. And you can see how massive they are. Project Mercury, the Mercury missions. Yeah, not a lot of room. Not a lot of room.
And actually, there's no in it too.
Yeah, I would not fit in that.
Really opens the freedom of letting people just kind of explore more, but still present a lot of actual artifacts. So that's the actual Apollo 9. These are some of the original.
Seal strut,
This allows
leather
you to
jacket of
like
an astronaut,
one of the first capsules to go to
Gemini missions. Now we're almost to the point of tourism flights.
the back behind here is that little kind of
Yeah, these flight suits. Gemini. They had special mission badges for all the different flights. The Apollo, Gemini. Forget how many were. So that's a replica of the oxygen tank that ruptured in Apollo 13, which caused all the problems. It was a defect in manufacturing, not discovered obviously until it ruptured. Where are they now? Where are the command modules? Oh, they're scattered all throughout the... Why is there one in... Oh, there's one in London. Oh, okay. One in Kansas, Illinois, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Alabama. Yeah, Huntsville. That's where they've got a lot of. That's a really good one. This is the Apollo 9. Hard to tell what was caused by re-entry and what was caused by age. Yeah, nothing, no place to move, nothing like that. There's the not allowed to touch. Crew compartment, F compartment. Now a lot of that damage there is obviously probably heat shield slash splash damage. Apollo 9 went out without a hitch. Each Apollo mission was a successful mission and actually two landing on the moon. They went up there, they did very specific things to prove that the technology worked, that they could take the next step forward. That's what the whole series was, to Apollo 11, which actually did land on the moon. So Apollo 9, they went up in orbit and they did the first spacewalk. It proved that all the systems that you could go out and you can get up, the module will work for control, still self-sustainable to support human life, and you could exit it and re-enter it and just fine. That paved the way for 10, which came within a few miles of the moon's surface, to 11, where they actually did land on the moon's surface. Oh yeah, here's some. Mariner, Skylab, Challenger. Oh, nice little timeline here. First shuttle. Now there are no more shuttles. The new Vision. Well, yeah, nobody really knows what the Vision is right now. I guess Elon Musk is the one who's got the Vision. Oh, Apollo 11. Plaque. A replica of the plaque left on the moon. Space food. Yeah, they had to develop, well, they didn't really have to develop MREs. They had to develop a paste or something like that. Memorial to the Challenger. I guess it recently came out that they probably survived the explosion and then had the terror of being alive until they crashed and died in the impact on the ocean. Pull up. International Space Station. Our future in space. Very, very... they're really green men. Why would it be cool to play basketball on Mars? Because the gravity is, then you could jump really high, blah, blah, blah. How are Falcons influencing the future of space exploration? Here are images. Oh, that's the rover. It's still up there. It's powered by solar. I think it was something like a 6-minute lag from whenever they gave it a command to when it actually would do it. Directly to the flight. Oh, okay. Rock. Apollo 17. Technically, there are moon rocks in the United States. I mean, on just Earth in general, because parts of the moon have been hit by asteroids and then floated to Earth. So, World War I. No, remember the incendiary gas was totally. Ah, there's a fire here. Okay. Interesting fun fact from World War I airplane history. It's the Red Baron. He was shot down and killed eventually. Interesting fun fact from World War I. Originally, when they had these planes, they realized they could just fly over and bomb, so they didn't have any guns. They just flew over and dropped bombs on enemy troops. So what the British and the Allies and the Germans would do, they actually, as the pilots, they would wave to each other as they were flying back and forth. It wasn't until, they came up with the idea how to mount the guns, they started shooting at each other, and it became a lot less friendly. German pistol used for firing flares from the open cockpit airplane in World War I. There's a good one. They actually had it timed so that when a gun would fire on these biplanes, it would fire, it was actually triggered by the propeller. The propeller would trigger so that they didn't hit the propeller. Obviously metals.